I just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only
What's
one.
up, everybody? Welcome to my channel.
No one
I'm
likes being
Sunshinery. Make
lied
sure
to.
to subscribe and like this video.
You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now
Curious to know if any cast members have tried communicating since the last reunion aired. Do you miss your friendships with any cast members? Actually, I do. Do you miss being on the show? How do you feel about Nick Viall's comment? Nick! Hey, Nick! Oh, I'm like shaky after that question. How are you able to lie for so long and not feel guilty? Ooh, these questions, you guys, putting me in the hot seat.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. We are here catching up on not one, but 2 chapters of Rachel Goes Rogue in this video. We will take a look at chapter 35 and 36. Since both are short episodes, I figured why not put them together? Now, there's no show notes for her 4th of July episode, which is less than 5 minutes, but she goes over her mood board and what she is looking forward to this summer. Now, chapter 36 is called Raise Your Glass, This is Juicy, which the show notes for this say, after some reflection, Rachel is ready to reveal who she is missing the most from the cast and who she is ready to reconcile with. Which this really is a part 1 to the next episode, which she answers a lot of questions from the fans, and we get some answers to some of the questions people have been asking. So make sure you are subscribed with your notifications on so you can get notified for the next chapter after these 2 and all of my other videos and lives. And please remember to hit that like button. It really helps show your support here for my channel. All right, guys, let's just do it. So we're going right into it.
Welcome back to another episode of Rachel Goes Rogue. This is your host, Rachel Leviss, and today I just wanted to check in with you guys and give a quick life update. Plus, happy 4th of July, everybody. So I wanted to do a little mental check-in because it is the start of summer and there are so many fun activities to be had out there. I have a running bucket list of things that I want to try out this summer. Jet skiing is definitely on there. And that will be a running list. So I'm open to suggestions. Because of the summer solstice, my friends and I got together to do vision board crafting. And I absolutely love the way my vision board came out. And as I was creating my vision board, I was able to process more of what I went through and where I am at now. It's more of a processing board than a vision board necessarily because it's reflecting my present moment and this pivotal point that I've come to where I've been fighting and fighting and fighting with the show. And I feel like now that the show is finally over and I don't need to fight as hard anymore, there is more room for me to relax. And I just wanted to run through my vision board really quick because I am posting it online. But since you guys are listening in here, I could give you some more details.
Now, I don't know about you, but July might be the start of her summer, but for me, it's more like the middle since school has already been out since June, and then we are ending August, going into September, going back to school with fall beginning. So I see July as like the middle of the summer. But, anyways, this is her post of her vision board, processing board. I called it a mood board because, as you can see here, she calls it a mood board. Regardless of its name, I wanted to show you the post so you can take a look. There are more pictures, and as she describes things, I will put the other photos up so that way you guys can have more of a visual aspect of what she's talking about, and we can discuss it as well. So let's get into this vision board, mood board, processing board, whatever board it really is.
So we have the Wanderer, and it's very reflective of the point that I'm at now with traveling and not quite knowing where I'm going to end up, but knowing that I am always protected and I have angels guiding me, and I know that everything's going to work out the way that it needs to. So we're just along for the journey and it's smooth sailing. There's literally a sailboat in this photo that I chose, and it says your friendship, literally like your friendship. Just a cute play on words. And I also have like my fighter jet. Everything on this board, for the most part, has been reflected back. So there's a piece with like looking into a mirror and seeing something reflected back to you and not getting lost in that. Okay, so my vision board is double sided. On the back, I've got a lot of stuff. And the back is a little bit more personal. It's a little bit more chaotic, but it's taken me some time to really process how I'm using this podcast, Rachel Goes Rogue, to advocate for what I care about. And speaking on this platform has allowed me to connect to you guys, and getting that feedback on Instagram, the words of encouragement, and how I'm able to inspire and uplift my listeners, it makes it all worth it. So thank you so much for listening in.
Now, I was asked a question by one of my friends and subscribers, like, if you don't like Rachel, why do you cover her? And it's not that I don't like Rachel because I want to see the best for everybody. That's just who I am. I just think there is a lot that she says that she contradicts herself. But for the most part, I do enjoy listening to her podcast. Because if I didn't like listening to her podcast, I wouldn't be covering it. And I feel like she has so much potential with this platform to bring awareness and be somebody that advocates for people if that's what she wants to do. And I also feel in the same breath that she has a long way to go. And I hope that by bringing in these people that she can learn more about who she is as a person as well as everybody else. I think she can do a lot of good with this platform. And I feel like she just needs to leave the past behind her and move forward. But yes, take those lessons that you've learned and apply them to the present. That's what a lot of people have a hard time doing. And it's something that I've had to learn within my own life, taking the trauma, the heartache, the lessons, the hurt, all of that, and learning from it, growing, and using it to become the person that I am today. And I know that she can do that as long as she puts her mind to it.
And yeah, this backside, I've got like my podcast, my name. I've got this feather that I got from a Tantra yoga workshop. I have this advocacy and sexual healing. And I feel like there's just so much shame surrounding sex in our culture that it's so important to heal those underlying unconscious thoughts about sex and sexuality. And I've been really embracing that and healing myself when it comes to that. I've got a coyote with a dollar bill behind it because we're manifesting in abundance in every possible way. So we are manifesting money this summer solstice. And I have my little cheat sheet that keeps me on track with every decision that I make. Here on out, it's very clear to me using this vision board as a moral compass to guide me into the next best thing for myself. So, this cheat sheet includes my inspirations. We have my values, which are freedom, adventure, spirituality, connection, and nature. Okay, I'm almost done with this episode, guys. But I'm really happy that you're tuning in for this special edition holiday episode. Love summertime. If you have an inkling to pursue something new, maybe it's like a new hobby, something that like brings light and joy into your soul, into your mind, into your body, I definitely want to just encourage you to pursue that. I think it's worthwhile, and that's what I'll be doing this summer. So I would love to bring you guys along with me for this next chapter of Rachel Goes Rogue. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a beautiful 4th of July.
Like I said, this episode was short and sweet. I know it was the 4th of July episode. I will be showing you pictures now of what she did for 4th of July. She got to hang out with a couple of her friends that were people that I know came from the pageant scene. And she had fun. She got to watch fireworks just like, you know, a lot of us got to do. But I found her mood board very interesting, and especially like her inspiration. Like she had Haley, I'm assuming Haley Beaver, Selena, Love Shack, Brookie Brooke. I don't know who Rosie is. Maybe you guys can let me know down below. But great inspiration for her generation. Those aren't people I really find inspiration in, but we're all different. I did like her little camping thing that she had going on. I think those were like stickers it looked like, but I thought that was really cute. And I know she went glamping with, of course, Ariana and Tom and Scheana and all of them. I didn't really see her much as a camper, but she's more on that loving nature side, and she's, you know, embracing it, and that's a beautiful thing. But really, that's it for this episode. Let's go on to the next chapter. So this is chapter 36. Again, it is called Raise Your Glass. This is juicy, which, like I said, it's kind of a two-parter. So this is part 1 of the 2 parts where fans and people got to go on to her Instagram, ask her questions, and she's going to answer a lot of these questions for us. So let's not waste time. Let's get right into it.
Welcome back to another episode of Rachel Goes Rogue. This is your host, Rachel Savannah Leviss, and today I'm giving you the reins. Post on Instagram and let you guys ask me whatever was still on your mind. Things you've been wanting answers to, questions about my personal life, I'm answering it all. Let's dive right in because there are so many questions here and I want to get to all of them. I'll try to keep my answers short as possible because you know me, I go off on long tangents and try to explain with a little bit of backstory. So I'll try to keep it as short as possible. I want to get through all these questions, and it's looking like this will be a 2-part episode. So this is part 1 of answering your guys' questions. First question. Curious to know if any cast members have tried communicating since the last reunion aired. No, I don't believe any of the cast members have reached out to communicate since the last episode aired this season. No. Do you miss your friendships with any cast members? Actually, I do. I miss my friendships with all of them in a strange way. I can say, like, sincerely, I do miss my friendship with Scheana, just like traveling to San Diego and hanging out with her and her daughter and talking and I don't know, hanging out and having fun. I do miss that friendship. I mean, heck, I even miss Lala. I miss Lala's feisty energy and thinking back on some of the interactions, like our most heated moments. I think that there's part of me now that understands Lala a lot more after experiencing this entire scandal. Um, and I have an appreciation for Lala. Um, Even Katie, like there was a moment for Katie and I back when James brought us all to Palm Springs for our surprise engagement, and Katie and I had a good moment in the pool, and that could have been a good friendship too, but I did not prioritize those friendships. I think I miss everyone except for James.
Well, first off, it's very interesting to hear that nobody's reached out, though I'm not surprised or shocked by it, especially with everything that she's doing lawsuit-wise. I did also find it very interesting that she named Scheana, Lala, Katie, everyone but James, she says she's missed. So does that include Scumdevil? And why didn't you mention Ariana? Is that just because you can't legally because you know that you have a lawsuit pending against her? But when you say you missed everyone but James, I'm assuming also then Ariana, Scumdevil, and Tom Schwartz. Those people are included as well. But to me, I just feel like, why would she even mention Katie? Like, we had a moment in Palm Springs, like how long ago that was, and it could have blossomed into something, but I just didn't prioritize my friendships. No, you did the ultimate betrayal of friendships by fucking your friend's boyfriend of 9 years. And I don't think she's understanding that. And if she was honest, like, and she did really miss Ariana, like, why wouldn't she just say it? Why wouldn't she just say it? Like, I thought we were being real, Rachel. And these are the things that, like, bother me about her and just the things that bother me about the podcast. Because, like, I can understand and see the growth that she has made. But when she makes, like, claims like this, it's like, why? Why are you even saying that? Because, I don't know. Makes no sense to me. I feel like if I were her, Ariana was one of her truest friends besides Scheana. She even mentioned Sheena's daughter, of all people. And it's like, you don't miss that, and you can't be real with us saying that you don't miss the friendship that you had with Ariana. Oh, no, because it doesn't fit the narrative that you need for court that you were actually never friends with her and yada, 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 even though you were. And Ariana is one of the realest friends out there. Scheana is still like an iffy up and down because she kind of goes with the flow of who likes who. And she does give people the benefit of the doubt when maybe she shouldn't, like Scumdevil. And then she gets hurt again. And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like that wasn't as true as she could have made it for us. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.
Okay, next question. Are you working? What are you doing now? What is next for you? So, right now, this podcast is my job, and I feel fulfilled doing it because I feel like the best way to live your life is to be in alignment with your purpose and getting paid to do what you love. And for me, that is healing others through my story and being a voice for people who feel like they don't have anyone to relate to. I want to be a voice for the person that I was going through all of this. So, yes, I am that voice for that person who may be struggling and wants answers and doesn't know where to start. I'm hesitant to speak about where I'm going career-wise because it is private for me, but I can say, like, I have an interest in yoga, doing yoga instruction. I heard that that is like a whole lifestyle dedication and it's transformative, and I'm all about that journey right now. I'm also very interested in sound healing and sound bowls, and I think there's something for me to explore there with the throat chakra because overcoming my social anxiety has been a huge part of my soul's journey. And I feel like there's still room for improvement because my voice still gets shaky when I'm talking about something that is important to me. Those are just some things that I am interested in and taking the steps towards pursuing. Do you miss being on the show? Part of me does. The part of me that got external validation from being on the show and feeling like I could control more of my own narrative. And that wasn't going to be the healthiest option for me, so that is why I opted out, but yeah, a part of me does miss being on Vanderpump Rules.
See, when she was going through her hobbies list, I was like, why didn't she mention yoga? I thought she was all into this yoga and meditation. I was right on. She must have just forgot. That's okay. I've reminded everyone for you. It's good though to hear that she's feeling this connection with yoga, meditation, sound healing, the voice chakra, whatever that really is. I'm not really too sure what that is. That's not like my thing. I do have my own forms of meditation. I've never actually really done yoga to know the true benefits of yoga. That is something, though, that I'm interested in myself. But my thing is, too, with this whole career thing, didn't she go to college and get, like, a major? Like, she's not doing anything with those degrees? And I thought it was, like, physical, why do I want to say physical therapy or something like that? If you guys can remember, let me know down below, because honestly, it's blocking my mind right now what she went to school for, because it's been so long that I feel like she was at school and graduated and all that. Actually, it was. I mean, she had long hair when she graduated. I have the photo. But I'm just not sure why she's not pursuing those kind of passions. I understand, like, the podcast is her job right now and she enjoys it, and she enjoys being a voice for those that might not know where to start or might not have that voice. I also feel like she needs to do more beneficial work on this podcast, where it's not always about her and it is about others and helping others. Just like with the dating expert last podcast, there was a lot of great advice that he was giving, though it might have not been for her. They could have, like, at least said, hey, like, you have wonderful advice. Some of that might not work for me as a person, but I can see where you're coming from and where it would work for others. That is where being an advocate for something and being there for people that might not have a voice and helping others is all about. Yes, your story does have a lot to do with it in helping others, but you also need to be a good listener and a good understander that not everything is the same. Not everyone goes through things the same, and there are different grieving levels for people. There are different traumas for people, and the way people feel is always going to be different, and you have to respect that, understand that, and give multiple options to things, especially with healing. That's why usually when you work one-on-one with a therapist, they focus on you. But when you're, like, doing, like, group therapy, it's like therapy that can help everybody, not just one person in that group. Does that make sense? I feel like it does, but sometimes I feel like I don't make sense. But I'm glad that, like, a lot of you reassure me that I make sense, because sometimes I feel like I'm not making sense, and then, like, I read your comments and it reassures me that what I'm saying is making sense. So I appreciate that tremendously. So please, thank you. I love all your comments, and let me know. Am I making any sense here? Like, she did go to school for something. Why wouldn't she, like, maybe pursue that option? She's never actually given that, like, any kind of thought after she left school, because she went right into Vanderpump Rules and reality TV and all of that. But I also hope that she finds what she loves, because sometimes we do go to school for things and then later find out that maybe we did have passions elsewhere that we just never had the opportunity to see. Like, I went to school for dental, and I did dental assisting, dental hygiene, and I ended up falling in love with law. And if it wasn't for me finding out that I had epilepsy and then getting a job in a law firm, I would have never found, like, that love and passion and knew that it existed if I never had that opportunity. So I can understand that as well.
Would you do any other type of reality TV show like Traders? I actually think I would do Traders. I don't know, but yeah, I don't think I would do a reality show about my life. I think I would do a reality competition show like Traders. That could be fun. Are you dating? Will you be making public any future relationships? I will be dating shortly. We just put out a podcast episode talking about getting on dating apps and Hinge, because that allows for the woman to take control on who she is dating. And that seems like an ideal situation for me. Will you be making public any future relationships? That depends. It's going to be some time before I publicly announce a relationship. We'll have to see how the dating experience goes. If it goes well and I do find somebody worthwhile, then perhaps I will publicize it. But that's going to take some time to get to that point. I'm actually really excited to be on a dating app. And it's wild because before that interview, I was not even considering online dating to be an option. And afterwards, I feel like that is the way to go. And so I'm very grateful for that dating coach, Jake, that came on, even though I didn't agree with everything he was saying. I do feel like there was some wisdom there and realizing that men are a lot less likely to approach a woman in public in the wild just because nobody wants to be a bother to somebody else. And I could understand that, and the dating apps are like an intentional place to meet somebody, and the woman gets to make the first move, so that sounds very appealing to me. I'd love to share more about, like, setting up my Hinge profile, so maybe that will be a future episode.
Well, first off, I really can't see Rachel really doing traders. I just don't think that is necessarily the game show for her, especially having to be conniving and if they do make her a trader, that is, having to like be fake and pretend she's something that she's not. I don't think that would be good for her mental health. I can see how other people were just even affected just playing the game. And I just don't think that would be a good show, though. Traders is huge and everyone loves the show. I love it myself. I just personally can't see her being on there. I also am shocked to hear that she is considering online dating. Congrats. Like, she said she didn't like all of his advice, but there was things that she like heard, listened to, and took some of that advice, which is wonderful because Jake really did give amazing advice. And if you missed last episode, it's here on my channel. Go check it out, especially if you're dating, even if you're not and you're in a relationship. He gives such great advice, and I enjoyed that episode for him and everything that he had to offer. And I really did hope that she took away some of his advice, and I'm happy that she is, because I really do feel like maybe that might be the best option for her. I still kind of like feel bad for Matt because I still think that there was miscommunication there. And I mean, we don't really know much about Matt, but he seemed like a great guy, and everything that she said about him seemed great. And I just feel bad. I do feel bad. But I wish her the best on that experience. Just don't go on Plenty of Fish. That's my only advice. Hinge, I've never done Hinge. Never done anything but Plenty of Fish. Worst nightmare of my life. And I'm glad that I met my boyfriend afterwards and I never had to be on another dating app ever again. So, good luck in that. I know that it's a lot different. And I do wish her the best. I wish the best for everybody. So hopefully that could be a success for her. And maybe she can find Prince Charming.
What makes you a better friend today than you were before? What have you learned? Taking care of myself makes me a better friend than I was before, making sure that I'm taking care of all of my needs, so I'm not going somewhere else to meet those needs. I also am making it intentional and a priority to really work on my relationships with other women and my women friendships. And right now, those are all the friendships that I have. And I think that that is a healthy thing. I think women speaking to each other, talking to each other is healing. And there's a study out there somewhere that women who participate in healing circles or like talking circles live longer than women who don't. My friends and I joke like, "Oh, hey, let's hang out tonight and have our night healing circle." What have I learned? I've learned that I have to fill my own cup before I can help others and be a good friend for others. So prioritizing my physical needs, my mental needs, all of that stuff, making sure I do things that spark joy for me, like dancing, like crafting, and then that love just overfills to my friends.
Learning to love yourself is the first step before you can love anybody else, and that includes your friends. I'm glad to hear that she's prioritizing herself, her well being, her mental health, all of that great stuff. I really feel like when the person that asked this question, like, what did you learn from your mistakes? I was really hoping she would be like, listen, I learned that one, it's wrong to betray your friend and to, well, fuck your best friend's boyfriend of 9 years and betray your friend's trust in that sense by hiding it and doing something like that. And, you know, being something she wasn't, which was not Ariana's friend. Like, that's maybe where she's like, we were never friends, because in her eyes, she wasn't friends because she was really just trying to get to her man. That's where, like, it's like, oh, you were doing so well until this question. Like, just be real. Like, say, I learned, like, I fucked up. I made a mistake. I should have never been with somebody that wasn't available. I should have known better. I knew he was dating my friend. I knew he was with my friend. And I put my emotional needs before being a friend to my friend. And trying to get with her man. Like, that's where it's like, come on, Rachel. These are what people want to hear. Like, I'm happy that you're doing everything that you need to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy for her. But, like, this is what the people want to hear. Not from me, from you.
How hard was it to go from people pleasing to setting boundaries? It was really difficult because my whole journey with people pleasing and overcoming that led me to the disaster that everybody witnessed on season 10 of Vanderpump Rules. So, yeah, because getting over the people pleasing and just feeling like hyper vigilant on everybody else's needs and living in anxiety and fear, I started to overcome that and become more selfish and self-centered, and I wasn't taking care of my own needs, so I was outsourcing that, and it led to a lot of trouble. So now I'm learning to set boundaries. I think a big, big boundary for me has been removing alcohol from my life and telling other people like, "Hey, I'm probably not gonna be at this social function if there's gonna be, like, major partying," really being aware of what I'm walking myself into so that I keep my sobriety going. Back to the friendship question, I I went to this Odessa concert in LA a few weekends ago, and I didn't post about it because I left my phone in the Uber, and I was out with the new friends that I met at Lightning in a Bottle. This guy invited me with his date. They were both drinking a lot, and I didn't know them very well. I should have gotten to know them before committing to this, but I can be a yes man sometimes. Lessons learned. Anyway, her date turns to her and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go find my ex-girlfriend. Stay right here." And then leaves us. And she's like, "What? Like, he just said he's gonna go find his ex-girlfriend." I was like, no, we don't do that. We're not about that energy. Don't worry about him. We're gonna do our own thing. I'm adopting you, and we're gonna be fine." And she was like, "But all of my stuff is in his hotel room." And I was like, "It's okay. We're gonna figure it out." And luckily, we called the Uber from her phone, so we were able to contact the Uber driver later to get my phone. It was a whole mess, but we were listening to Odessa, and she was crying, and I was like holding her, and I felt like I really stepped up to the plate to be the person that I would want to have around me in that moment of heartbreak and disappointment and just like this night not going as planned. Um, but I felt like I was very firm in setting that boundary and realizing that this is not a healthy person and clearly drawing the line. Like, no, we're not meeting up with him again. We're gonna figure out the situation tomorrow, when she's sober, and I can't babysit her all the time, but I did adopt her that night, and I was happy I did because it really showed me, like, dang, like, I am stepping up to the plate to be the friend that I would want in this situation. So, that was a big moment for me. Happy it happened, learned some lessons, and set some boundaries.
Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again here, that I do feel like a big portion of her life she only knew about people pleasing because maybe there is some kind of abandonment issues there, seeing that she is technically adopted and just always feeling that need to please everyone, so that way they like her, they don't want to leave her, you know what I mean? That she just gives everybody what they want and they want to hear, so that way they're happy with her. So I'm glad to hear that it's been an adjustment and it's something she's working on still, and she's learning to take care of herself first. Now, back to this like friend comment. That was being, yes, a wonderful friend, and you did have to put up boundaries, and I can see where you put up boundaries. And that was the right thing in that situation. Boundaries are necessary, and that is something I'm learning even at my age to this day, that boundaries are a good thing. And just because one of my friends is friends with somebody that I necessarily might not really agree with the things that they do and say, I need to set my boundaries with that person, not my friend, but that person that my friend's with, and really have them understand that, like, I just can't be a part of it. And I'll tell you, it's not an easy thing to do, especially here on these YouTube streets. Being real. But I've also learned a lot from being on YouTube for 3 years now, that you just need to do what's best for you. And sometimes it's not going to always work out for everybody. And that's okay. As long as you are happy with what you choose to do and you are morally living up to the morals you have set for yourself, that's what matters. I also kind of feel like it was like an underhanded comment that she made about, like, this is like how I wish people would have been with me, kind of a thing. Like, people weren't there for her after her breakup with James, when reality was people really did support her and try to show her that they loved and cared about her. And if anything, I felt like they were icing James out and like being more her friend and seeing it from her perspective than his. But that's just what I saw. Let me know if I'm like just, making these things up in my head. But that's kind of what I got from that. Like, she wasn't too happy about the way her friends were there for her when she was in a time of need. And she's learning to be the person she wants others to be when, if she was in that time of need, like, be there for somebody that she would want if she was in that situation, kind of a thing. But we're already on to the next part. Like I said, this was a short one too, so let's move right along.
How can you trust to be vulnerable with men in dating now? It's difficult. I trust that not all men are pieces of S. I have some experience now hanging out with healthy people and their boyfriends, that there are good quality men out there, and it may just take some time and being honest and truthful to who I am, and ending things when I feel like it's not going anywhere. I have to trust that there are good quality men out there that I can be vulnerable with. But I think the whole dating process for me right now is going to be vetting out these guys to find the one that I can feel my most vulnerable with and that I can live in the moment with and trust, because I've gotten lost in relationships before. And I'm not saying that I'll get lost in this relationship again, but life is not easy. And I'm sure there are going to be really hard situations for me in the future that I'm going to have to deal with. And I'm going to need to lean on the people that are in my closest circle. So, yeah, I would like to have someone who is trustworthy, who has integrity, who is a safe person who can protect me and ensure that I am making good decisions for myself and it's supporting me in my decisions. And, I still want to be an independent person, but I think finding a I don't know. Why do I wanna say soulmate? Because that just seems extreme, but like a mate to do life with, right? Yeah, okay.
Being able to feel safe and that your partner is going to be there to protect you and have your back, and you can be vulnerable, is such an important thing when it comes to relationships. I don't necessarily think she ever really felt safe, even with her relationship with James. I guess you can kind of say a relationship with Scandoval, even though it was an affair. There wasn't that safety and feeling safe, and that is something that she truly needs to find and be able to have in a relationship. So I do wish her all the best of luck there as well. And I don't think it's weird that, like, she wants to say soulmate, because ultimately, aren't we all just looking for that special someone to fill our soul and be our soulmate? So I don't see it as like a weird thing for her to say. I think her saying find a mate sounds weirder in my opinion, but I can see like why she doesn't want to say that, because she's maybe not ready to, and she's hesitant to even say like she's looking for a soulmate. But that's everyone's ultimate goal, is to, when they're not in a relationship, is to find a partner that they can, you know, spend the rest of their life with and feel that soulmate connection.
How do you feel about Nick Vial's comments? Nick, hey Nick. So I appreciate your interest in me coming onto your show. I feel like there's not really a point because I feel like I've pretty much addressed everything on my own podcast. I mean, I don't know what else he's saying about me, honestly, but I think he plays to the fans a lot and he is there to create entertainment. And he doesn't care how it affects his guests that come on. So that's not in alignment with my values. And so therefore I don't have an interest to come on right now. What steps are you taking to stop blaming yourself for things that are out of your control? Dang. The first step is acceptance, accepting the things that I cannot change. And then not only accepting it, but embracing it for what it is. And then understanding what I can change and being courageous enough to take action with that. And those are the steps. Yeah, it's total complete acceptance. And it's also having faith that everything is serving a purpose for my highest good. And I guess this question is specifically asking about how I'm stopping to blame myself for these things. I give myself grace. I understand that I'm a human and we are put on this earth to make mistakes and to learn from them and to grow from them. And so I stop blaming myself by giving myself some grace.
And those are all amazing steps in the right direction. I do feel that we all aren't perfect. We're not gonna be perfect. Nobody in this world is perfect. We're gonna make mistakes, and we need to learn from those mistakes so that way we make better choices for the future, and so that we never make the same mistake again that has put us in that position where we felt at our ultimate low, like she did. I also feel like she lacks empathy, and that is something that I wish that she could understand better and see from a different perspective, that the way she really hurt Ariana, whether Ariana showed it on the outside the way she did, Ariana was very affected by this. It was very traumatic for her. Ariana lost a partner of 9 years that she felt safe and vulnerable being with, and he took advantage of that to then go sleep with her best friend. And the lack of empathy for Ariana shows, and I think that's what a lot of us still see, is that she doesn't have any empathy for what she put Ariana through. And that is the one thing that I hope for her, is that she can find and see the empathy that she is lacking, and that she really did affect somebody else's life by the choices that she made, whether it was to fulfill her own emotional needs or whatever, or blame it all on Scumdevil, whatever the case may be. She did play a part in it, and she did affect somebody's life ultimately. And yes, their life has now gone into very positive directions. Ariana's achieving goals that she had set out for her from young ages even till now, and she's doing incredible. But that still doesn't mean she can't have empathy for her and not understand that what she put her through was very traumatic as well. Not just what she went through, but what Ariana went through as well because of what she did. That's the one thing I wish for Rachel. More empathy, more compassion about the situation at hand.
How are you able to lie for so long and not feel guilty? Ooh, these questions, you guys, putting me on the hot seat. I did feel guilty. I felt very, very guilty. So guilty that I was escaping from reality, which was further perpetuating this cycle because I felt guilty for my actions and I sought out solace from an individual that I should not have been putting so much power in this person's hands. And I was drinking so much alcohol to cope with that anxiety and that pain. And that may sound like an excuse to some of you guys, but that is the facts. And I don't think I necessarily had an alcohol problem. I'm not an alcoholic, but I was abusing alcohol hardcore. So that is why I've taken the steps to completely cut alcohol out of my life because I'm able to think a lot clearer and I've taken back my power to start making my own decisions in life and not letting other people run the show. Okay. How was I able to lie for so long though? That's a good question. I think I've gotten really good at masking my true emotions and not letting people see me for my full self. Growing up into young adulthood, I had this wall up, this wall of pleasant where I would show up with a smile on my face and I would make sure that I wasn't causing any anxiety for other people so that that would cause, like I felt safest showing up to social settings with a smile on my face because that kept me safe in a way. But as I got older, I realize now that that is not helpful for me anymore. It may have been helpful for me as a child, but as an adult, it's actually hindering me. I do believe that I was able to lie for so long because I have been a master at masking my true emotions for so long.
I definitely see where she's coming from with this. I feel like growing up, she didn't want to feel like a burden, like she was hindering somebody or that anything was wrong, because if something was wrong, she was scared that maybe it would cause issues and she didn't want to cause any issues. And I think this also goes back to even her pageant days where they tell you, like, you always have to have a smile on your face no matter what's going on, and just, please and wave and have that smile on even if you're not happy and you always had that smile. People can even hear it in your voice. Like right now, I'm sitting here with a smile on my face, and you might just hear it in my expression because that's just how the pageant world is. Like, you have to just come off like you are okay at all times. I think that all of these were factors. I'm still curious though, like, how did she not feel bad about lying for as long as she did? How did she not feel any empathy for Ariana? And that goes back to what I just said. Like, how does she not have any guilt about the trauma that she was causing in someone's life without them even knowing, and just like showing up to events and smiling in her face like nothing was wrong when she was sleeping with her boyfriend? There's a lot of questions still, and I don't think we'll ever get a direct answer. And I've said this from day one, but I just feel like there is such a lack of empathy for what she put Ariana through, and that shows. And I will say it again, even though I know I just said it. Like, I really just wish that for her, she can find the compassion and empathy for what she did and understand that she affected not only her life, but somebody else's by the choices that she made.
What wellness routines do you do for your mental health? Well, when I feel like I am feeling like I'm not grounded, I will practice breathing. Breathing is always a go-to. You can never go wrong with breathing. Typically, you want to have your exhale be longer than your inhale if you're trying to relax. And this helps me get back into my body. Feeling my fingertips, feeling my toes helps me as well. And naming different objects in the room keeps me in this room. Sounds bizarre, but it does help. Other wellness routines, I try to work out every day. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I do love going for walks. I love going to yoga and Pilates and hiking. And sometimes I'll call a friend and just pace around the house. And sometimes I count that as cardio. Other wellness routines. Okay, so I've gotten back into crafting, and arts and crafts was a big pillar in the Meadows structure. We had art therapy basically where a therapist would analyze your art, and it was cool. There were like portals and certain meanings, and having somebody analyze your art was I guess it, like, primed me to create my own art and just, like, you know, let it go. Whatever happens will happen, and I'm not trying to achieve anything. I'm just gonna tear out what feels good to me and put it down on a board, and I've been able to analyze my art, and I feel like that has reconnected me to my inner child the most. Out of everything that I've done, doing art has reconnected me to my inner child. So, yeah, that's super exciting to know going forward in my life. So I highly recommend that.
Closing your eyes and breathing is such a great form of meditation just in itself. I know that like my boyfriend never really got into meditation, and since he's been having a couple health issues here and there, one thing that he's learned himself is when he feels like his heart is kind of racing and he's getting that pain that he's feeling in his chest, that he needs to close his eyes and breathe and relax. And even for me, when I get my anxiety attacks, that is one big thing that I need to remember to do is to breathe. And that's one of the things that I need to work harder on is those breathing techniques and exercises. And I love doing arts and crafts and like just crafting in general. One of the things that I found that I really, really enjoy, and it actually helps with my ADHD and focusing and not concentrating and let my mind race, is coloring. And I try to do that every night before I go to bed because I feel like it relaxes my mind. Though I just enjoy doing all different kinds of crafts. One of my biggest passions is like woodworking and finding like over here people put like furniture out and like finding a piece of furniture and taking it from what it used to be into something completely different or something new and repurposing it. I love doing things like that. What are some of your hobbies? What are some of your favorite crafts? I want to hear it. Let me know down below. Oh, and I cannot forget, I really, really enjoy diamond art, which I haven't done that in a while, and I need to get myself back into it. But even just like being meticulous and putting like those diamond colors in the right spots, that relaxes me too.
Oh, this next question is suiting too. Do you still want to work with kids? I am not so sure anymore. I think that kids are a lot of work and they require a lot of patience. And I used to think that because I was a very patient person, that I could handle that job and I would be good at it and I would excel at it. And I also can empathize and understand where kids come from that have disabilities and learning disabilities because I have my own set of struggles and I figured out ways in my life that has helped me and my learning and me and my processing. So that was my whole motive behind pursuing occupational therapy, which is basically like play therapy for kids. It's structured play therapy to work on gross motor skills and fine motor skills like writing. And I did do an internship at a occupational therapy clinic in Beverly Hills, and it was very cool. But as I'm getting older, because also it was like I decided this in college when I switched my major from physical therapy to occupational therapy, and I realized then that I love kids, and I felt like I was an adult for the first time. But now that I feel like I'm truly an adult, I feel like nurturing my inner child is all the kid playtime that I can handle right now. I feel more connected to adults, and after going through this major life experience, I feel like I have so much more wisdom and knowledge and literally experience, um, that I think I wanna pursue a career working with adults now. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Ooh, do you regret anything? Yeah, I regret a lot. A lot. But also all of that I needed to experience in a way. Um, but the part that I regret is hurting other people and neglecting other people's experience of how my behavior was impacting them. So that is the part that I regret the most. Okay, I feel like that's a good place to put a pin in this. There are still a ton of questions that you guys sent in, and I do want to cover all of them. So we will come back for a part 2. But in the meantime, just know that you are worthy, you are loved, and you deserve nothing but the best. Go out there and be your favorite self. And I love you. And thank you for listening.
Well, hot damn, I didn't think I was going to get the answer to my question just by listening to the next podcast. So, I wasn't completely wrong. She did major in physical therapy, but she switched it to occupational therapy, and I probably just said that so weird. And I just read a comment about how I said statistic wrong in the last episode, and I'm trying for you. Statistics. I think I got it. But anyways, working with kids was always something that I wanted to do. I actually wanted to be a teacher, and then I changed what I wanted to do my sophomore year, and I then went to a trade school for dental assisting. Then I processed that. I went to dental hygiene, all of that good stuff. And then learning later on down the road that I had epilepsy and technically working with sharp objects in people's mouth and possibly having a seizure while doing it, which I can say that that's happened. I'm a liability. So I, did the law thing. Covina happened, the C word, if you don't know what Covina is. And from there, I got back into working with kids. And when I was in college, I was working with middle school age kids. And it was like, oh my God, this is way too much. And these kids, like, were at that age where, like, they just were not listening, not really wanting to be there, not liking school and all of that. So it kind of felt like a letdown. But working with preschool kids is totally different. We do occupational therapy, like the fine motor skills, building blocks, writing, motor skills like that with them. But they're at such an age where, like, they're just getting into their schooling, that they love and adore their teachers. They have fun. We have fun. We get to do arts and crafts every day. Like, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's definitely very rewarding. Just getting to see those kids smile is very rewarding. Though I do still sometimes feel like it's still not something I'm happy doing. I really would love to get back into a law firm. It is what I'm doing now, and I can enjoy it and appreciate it and love what I do. And I feel like maybe she just wasn't working with the right age of kids like I was, but she also said, like, she's learned, like, she just wants to work with adults and not kids. And hey, everyone is different. Everyone finds what they like and what they don't like. And, you know, props to her for figuring out what she enjoys, just like I have. It was also very interesting to hear that she regrets hurting people. So, right there says a lot. I still feel like she could have a lot more empathy and compassion for what she put Ariana through, because if she did, I don't really necessarily believe that she would have brought this lawsuit upon her. Like, I don't feel like there's any need for this lawsuit. If anything, it should be against Scandoval, not Ariana. She's kind of blaming Ariana for finding it, and there has been no evidence to prove that Ariana passed this around town like she is claiming. And I think those are false narratives that she's trying to push just to make some money off of her, because she sees this girl doing well, achieving her goals, shining bright. And it's in my feelings that, like, she's trying to take this girl down a notch because she was taken down a notch. But what she's not understanding is, like, what she did impacted all of that. And I feel like she's not satisfied until Ariana's knocked down onto that level where she's hurting her, but yet she regrets hurting people. And I said it in this episode, and I'll say it again, like, I feel like just because Ariana didn't outwardly show all the trauma and pain that she was going through is why, like, Rachel is acting out with this lawsuit and everything, because she feels like Ariana didn't feel anything from it. But, like, maybe Ariana has been very well with masking her feelings, her emotions, and it gets to a point where she just can't mask it anymore, and it comes out. And we've seen this plenty of times on Vanderpump, and even with last season, season 11, like, there was still a lot of hurt and emotions with Scandoval and her that, like, when they were around each other and they had to communicate, like with the whole dog issue, you could see the hurt and anger and trauma that she had gone through from everything he had put her through. And, well, Rachel as well. But that is just how I feel. I want to know how you all feel about these two chapters. Let me know down below in the comments your thoughts, your opinions, all of that. Your opinions matter here. No answer is the wrong answer. Just because I'm giving my opinion does not mean that is the right opinion. We all can have different opinions. We can all like different things. We can like Rachel. We can hate Rachel. We can feel whatever we feel. Let me know down below, though, what you thought about these two chapters, and we are going to be moving on quick. I'm popping these out for you, so be ready. Make sure you are subscribed here to my channel with your notifications set to all, and please make sure to like this video and show my channel some love and support by doing so. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will be back again soon, so be ready. Bye, everyone.
I wanna burn all the bridges between us.